Jersey City is back in the news, still fighting to fire police officers for using cannabis. I first reported on the saga last October, and just as, like I said, this past Tuesday, Jason covered the story when the Civil Service Commission agreed to hear the case of Officer Mackenzie Riley. But here we are almost a year later, and it seems like Jersey City just can't let this one go. Officer Mackenzie Riley was fired last August after testing positive for cannabis during a random drug test. And now you think that would be okay, it'd be legal in the city, in the state where it's legal, and it wouldn't be an issue. But Jersey City seems determined to ignore the state's attorney general, who's made it very clear that police officers can't be disciplined for using cannabis while off duty. The Civil Service Commission, which appears to be the voice of reason in all of this, has now ruled that Riley should be reinstated with back pay and benefits. They've also warned Jersey City that they will face a $200 a day fine if they don't rehire two other officers who were fired under similar circumstances. Now, this isn't the first time the commission's had to step in. They've already ordered the city to rehire 3 of the 5 officers that they fired, but Jersey City keeps doubling down. It's like watching someone who's stuck in a revolving door and goes round and around without getting anywhere. Riley's case has a unique twist, though. When he was drug tested, he did not disclose that he was using cannabis for medical purposes. The city tried to use this against him, claiming it was misconduct and insubordination. But let's be honest, Riley didn't even have a medical cannabis card at the time. He bought the cannabis for adult use, which is completely legal in New Jersey law. Administrative law judge Matthew Miller, who recommended Riley's reinstatement, summed it up perfectly by saying, in New Jersey, that ship has sailed. And that's really the point, isn't it? Cannabis is legal. The state made it clear that officers shouldn't be penalized for using it off duty. Yet Jersey City continues to fight this battle that's already been lost. During the commission's meeting, there was even a debate about whether Riley should be suspended for not disclosing his cannabis consumption. Commissioner Daniel W. O'Mullen voted against reinstating him, suggesting a 3-month suspension instead. But this feels like a last-ditch effort to cling to a past that no longer fits the present. At this stage, it's not hard to shake your head at the whole situation. These prohibitionists need to move on, start focusing on real issues. The laws have changed, the state's stance is clear, and Jersey City is stuck. The story is more than just a legal battle. It's about adapting to the times. Cannabis is legal. It's time to treat it as such. People should be able to consume without the fear of losing their jobs, especially when they're off duty and following the law. It's time for Jersey City to stop fighting a lost cause and embrace the new reality. Americans should be able to consume cannabis without the fear of repercussions. As for Riley and the other officers in this mess, they deserve to be back on the force protecting the community. He's done nothing wrong except live in a state that hasn't come to terms with its own laws. I'm Stone Slade reporting for the High at 9 News.
This is fantastic update right here, Stone Slade. He's getting his job back. They said you have to reinstate him within a week or you're going to face problems, they said.
With back pay.
Yeah. So now question.
I hope he goes in there smelling like weed too.
Question, because in the report that I covered on Tuesday, it mentioned that there were a total of 5 officers that were involved in this suit. Is that retroactive for all 5, or is that only specific to this one in particular officer?
I believe it's retroactive because it said something about they've already been reordered to rehire 3 of the 5 officers. And plus, they talked about the other 2 when it mentioned the $200 a day fine.
Interesting.
Yeah, fine them.
I think this is great. What do you think about this, Dale? These cops getting their jobs back.
I have been inside law enforcement. I've also been inside city and county government. And when you got a prohibitionist in there, this kind of news makes their butt pucker up and causes cognitive dissonance. And they just don't want to accept that you've got to let a cop smoke weed. They can't make that rational leap in their head. And at some point, you've got to tell them, look, I don't care whether you like it or not, you're going to do it. And at some point, the courts say, we're done talking about this. It's final. And we still have that little problem in there about guns. And I don't think that the state has really a lot of authority to enforce the gun issue. That would be a federal issue. But, come on. Right now, people are allowed to smoke weed. The average cop doesn't give a shit. They're being told to find other things to do. And the policymakers telling them to keep doing this are meeting resistance from the beat cops, because the beat cops are dealing with crazy motherfuckers out there, lying, cheating, stealing, beating each other up. And you want me to bust somebody for smoking weed? and I can do it myself. I mean, come on, let's move to a new place where law enforcement is actually trying to help us rather than screw with us and show up with guns for your 6-plant garden and stuff like that.
I mean, Dale, do you think you bring up the 2A issue, and like Rico has stated in the past that New Jersey has law enforcement officers purchase their own guns. So I wonder if them being forced to hire them back is also a silent victory for 2A activists everywhere. Also, wouldn't you say?
Well, I would, but this is a state court, so we've got different issues. If it's in federal court. And not, I think they tried to forum shop here, and I think they abstained from taking this case, if I'm remembering. But state court decisions aren't precedent for federal law, usually. And that needs to be fixed because there's an exception to the Controlled Substances Act for official government actions. That's how Ed Rosenthal managed to get such a light sentence, and they stopped screwing with so many activists in the Bay Area because they had authorized them. The city of Oakland gave them an authorization to grow weed, and Ed was their authorized grower, and so it really threw a wrench into their works because there's an exception to that, and they didn't think anybody should have an exception. This is another one. They should pound this as much as they can. Cops have enough trouble not being encouraged to drink like a damn fish to deal with their problems. Smoking weed's a whole lot better for them. They're less angry, less violent, okay? And they shouldn't be punished for this. That's where I think this ought to be going, and going as fast and with as many behind it as we can do.
You have any thoughts on this, Rachelle?
I mean, honestly, I want to see more of this. I want to see more people getting their jobs back and being proven right. They're allowed to smoke their medicine. So I'm excited.
Nice. Look at
it's like one of the few instances that I am pro cop. I hope they win on this one.
But how is that going to work though? I didn't know that as a Jersey police officer you have to buy your own weapon. So if one of these guys who now has a medical marijuana card goes in there and buys the weapon, doesn't he have to check the box that disqualifies you from buying said weapon?
I don't think he has to. Because at the same time he has the right to not incriminate himself.
Slippery slope.
I don't think so.
It is a slippery slope, Stone, because that's what Hunter Biden.
It's pretty cut and dry to me.
White.
Oh boy. There goes that bait again, Rico.
Hitting the slopes, smoking the dope.
You guys, I love this story. We could go on for days on this, but we're going to keep this train rolling. We are going to roll into our final commercial, and we're going to be right back.